Hey LinkedIn, just wrapping up the day here, and thought I'd just kind of talk about the market right now and what's going on, especially if you're doing sales. And the reality is, if you're an entrepreneur or anybody connected to revenue, you're doing sales to some degree. Even in marketing, to some degree, you're playing that role. But the sentiment I want to communicate right now is like, it really is going to take extreme effort. And you really do need to think about that word right now, is like extreme effort, because whatever you were doing before, if you're doing kind of the usual and you're doing maybe what worked 6 months ago or even what worked 1 year ago, it simply is not going to be enough, and you're going to run into problems. And you've seen it online. You've seen people talking about these different things. Maybe it's sales, or be a little tighter, or economy, people talking about economy, or even just job searching. I saw one today where the person said, man, is really grinding out and trying to get job searching and things like this. Here's the reality. It's going to take more. It's going to take extreme effort. And whether it's for job searching or for sales or for whatever, it takes extreme effort. And it's going to take dramatically more than you estimate. So when you think about the estimation of effort and you think, hey, it usually takes me this, the unreasonable amount would be this. That's the thing you need to do right now. And for me, I built this company, started in 2008. We bootstrapped it entirely, had like literally no money to my name at the time. When we started it, had another company. Long story. It wasn't great, and we had no money. And it was the economic crisis had just hit. It was 2008, and it was just like straight up hustle, sales, extreme effort. And it paid off, and it's one of those things where it's like, I had to do it then, I had to do it in 2020, when obviously like all of you, and sometimes it's like you got to totally change your condition, you got to totally change your operating basis to something that feels maybe a little bit unreasonable, but that's probably what it's going to take right now, and that's true of what it's going to take for marketing. That's true of what it's going to take for sales. That's true of what it's going to take maybe for training your people or for getting a new role somewhere. It's like, it's going to take extreme effort. And the sooner you sort of come to grips with that and go, okay, fine, no problem, I could do that. Go and do that, because whether you're doing content, you're creating content to get attention of your audience, it's going to take extreme effort. Whether you're doing sales, if it took 20 contacts, it's going to take extreme effort. You're going to have to take 30, 40, 50, 60 contacts. If you normally made 20 calls in a day, or whatever it is, however you do it, if it's 20 calls, you might have to do 100. What's that unreasonable number that comes to, you go, geez, that's crazy. That's the one it's going to take, right? Go after that and take extreme effort, and you'll start to see that pay off. We always talk about, we've talked about over the years where, you sort of put pressure on the market, you sort of outflow and take action, and then you get a trickle, and then you take more action, and you get a flood, and then you take more action, you get a tsunami. And that's really my advice to anybody out there right now, especially if you're doing sales, you're an entrepreneur or whatever. It's just simply got to take more, and you got to get all of your people behind it. You got to get everybody totally aligned. You can't just contract, like what I've always said is, like, you can't just contract and pull back and be conservative and sit on the sidelines and just kind of hope and wish it's going to turn around, because that's not necessarily a workable solution, and you can't contract your way to success. At some point, you've got to push into the market, you've got to expand. And like, it's interesting too, because what I think is going on too is, like, it's a little bit seized up because people are contracting. There's more dry powder. I took a private equity course a while back, and they use the word dry powder, which just means cash, basically cash on hand, cash in the accounts, cash available. And I just saw an article that says there's global private equity dry powder approaches $2 trillion, right? So there's like more money sitting on the sidelines than there has ever been. And really, it's like, we got to get that in circulation. We got to get that flowing, because that's how things go. And some people are just being conservative. They're not spending, but there is a huge amount of money out there, and people need help. People need services. People need products and services and things like that. But you're going to have to work harder for it, and you're going to have to solve people's problems or innovate and create better solutions or whatever it is in order to get things done. So be thinking with the term maximum extreme effort. That's what it's going to take, and do more of everything, and if you get the other thing, I wrote a note about this today. It's like, it really comes down to also, like, if you have a consideration about that, or a reluctance about that, right, in your mind, you think, oh geez, should I do this, should I do that, because it feels a little unreasonable. right now is not the time to have the luxury of reluctance or considerations. Like, just do it. Just do it anyway. Whatever it is, just go and do the thing. Just keep doing that and take extreme effort, and you'll start to see progress. You'll start to get wins. But if you're not doing what I'm saying right now, then you're probably feeling the pain. And if you are doing it, then you know what I'm saying is true, because you know you're starting to get traction, you're getting things, and you're getting that trickle. So just something I want to share, and hopefully that helps with whatever it is that you're doing.